Hi guys, I am Refashion Hippie and I'm sorry I'm sick this week, so this is being recorded in my room because I'm trying to stay away from my daughter. Um, but if you guys have not heard the news yet, I think it's going to be really big. New out of Poshmark just in the last couple days is this Poshmark promoted closet beta. So let me tell you exactly what that is from what we know so far, and then let's talk a little bit about what that might mean for us as sellers. So I'm quoting here, Poshmark says this is a tool to, quote, empower sellers with more tools to make sales and grow their businesses. And they say that this will allow promoted listing to be placed in a prominent place. So we're not quite sure what that means, in a prominent place when searches come up, and also in brand pages. So like if you search Free People as a brand, promoted listings will go to the top of that page. I'm not sure how I feel about this, to be honest. There's obviously still a lot of stuff that has to be worked out, and Poshmark has been very clear that this is a beta. So just like they did with the Poshmark shows beta, a lot of stuff changed during the beta. You know, it looked very different at the beginning than it did at the end. They are releasing a lot of new features. They really do take feedback into account. So they definitely have a lot to learn. But one thing I have to say just right off the bat, you guys know I love Poshmark. They are my home base. They are not great at disseminating information. I think when they release stuff, they don't really get to the heart of it. They don't really get to the information that we as sellers need to know. So that's something they do need to work on a little bit, because if you go to their blog page that talks about this, and that's going to be linked down below, the frequently asked questions section is like 80% about how do you get involved? How do you get involved? And it's like, no, I need to know what it is. Like I need to know what it is before I sign up to get involved. So right now they are inviting certain Posh Ambassador 2 status members to get enrolled in this beta to test it out, see how it works. They say that they will invite new people on a rolling basis, but the people they're targeting first are going to be people with the larger closets with the most listings in them, which I understand from a business standpoint for Poshmark. However, they're saying that there's this big push to, you know, get all sorts of different kinds of closets. And I have to say, then going after your Posh Ambassador status 2 people and people with the largest closets is not the way to go. I don't think that's a fair representation. I think that's like saying, we want to know how everybody feels about dentists, so we're going to interview people coming out of that one dentist in particular to see how everybody feels. Because, you know, Poshmark is not just for big sellers. I mean, I sell full time and I don't even have 1,000 listings in my closet right now. Because I crosspost. Please use this perfectly. I'm just showing you my boobs. But more on that later. But you know, I have to really wonder how this is going to affect people who just want to make a little extra money, just want to make some stuff on the side, or trying to clear out their house and, you know, don't want to have a garage sale because they know that what they have is really valuable. I have to wonder how this is going to affect them, because if it was hard to find the motivation to get on and sell initially, I think this is only going to make it harder. I also have a problem with it because Poshmark, you know, there's a lot of different options to sell right now. There's a lot of different platforms that you can sell on. And Poshmark has always said like, oh, well, we are, you know, we're the social one. That's why they have these parties, right? Because you can meet other sellers, you can get advice. This is why they do the Posh and Sips. And that's why we share as sellers, right? That's why we share our closet. That's why we share our friends' closets. And so much of Poshmark's algorithm is based on sharing, because they want it to be a social thing where real people can connect with one another, which is, you know, they don't want bots, right? They don't want you to have a bot. They want you to be a real person doing the real work with real people. I wonder how this is going to affect that. I really do, because is this going to get rid of sharing? If it does, that's going to completely change Poshmark. Maybe for the better, maybe not, I don't know, but just, I really wonder how this is going to affect sharing. And I really wonder how this is going to affect smaller sellers or sellers who are starting out and trying to be big sellers. Because right now, you know, it's hard enough to get your pieces noticed once you're competing with promoted listings, I think that's going to make it even harder. I know a lot of you might be saying like, well, eBay has promoted listings, but I think that's a very different thing because, you know, A, their algorithm is not based on sharing. And also, they sell to an international audience. You know, there's no question as to what eBay is. There's still a lot of questions as to what Poshmark is, I think. And like, if you're a Poshmark Canadian user, you cannot buy from an American seller. You know, if you are a Canadian seller, you can't even enroll in this yet. I mean, it's a much smaller audience. So I just think in a world that has a lot of really competitive reselling companies going on right now, I gotta say, I don't think this is the move. I also just want to say, I previously alluded to my t-shirt, but because there are so many different platforms that you can sell on, if you are not a member of List Perfectly, please join. Please join it, because I worked really hard for a lot of years, and what let me actually go full-time as a seller was joining List Perfectly. I used to think of them as a cross-posting platform with other stuff, and now I realize they are a huge platform that just offers cross-posting. But if you are not using List Perfectly, if you are not cross-posting onto multiple platforms, please join right now. I'm completely serious. I have a referral code if you want it, but I'm not saying this for me. I'm saying it for you. So look up my other videos if you want more information about List Perfectly. This is just a tiny mini commercial. I'm going to get back to the Poshmark stuff now. And I do understand Poshmark, you know, I do understand from a business point. They were just acquired by a South Korean like tech giant who I think the deal was $1.2 billion. So that's a lot of investment money that they probably want to make back. And, you know, I do appreciate that Poshmark doesn't have ads when you log on. You're not having to filter through various things. So I completely understand that they want to make money from whatever way they can from their users. But I don't know. I don't know that this is the way, because their selling fees are already pretty high. I love using Poshmark for a number of reasons. One of them is the selling fee is pretty easy to use. You know, the selling fee is just flat right across the board, which can be a bad thing if you're selling a single pair of socks or a tube of mascara. It can be a good thing because it allows people to bundle a lot of objects that all ship for the same price as long as it's under 5 pounds. So that's always been really, really easy to use. But the selling fee being a flat 20% is pretty high. On Facebook, it's about 5%. And on eBay, for what I do, it tends to be about 12%. So adding additional fees on top of an already high selling fee really makes me question this. I will also provide a link if you're interested, though. Right now, the beta is invitation only, but if you want to apply for it, you can apply early. That link will be down in the description as well. Even if you don't think you're going to use this, let me advise you to apply, just so that you have that in your back pocket, because like I said, I could be wrong about that. So I'll be applying later, but I don't know how that's going to go. This is unsubstantiated. Let me be clear about that. But one YouTube user said that to sign up for the beta, you have to agree to their payment structure later. In the beta, it's free because you're testing it. We do have to assume it will be paid later. But she said that to apply, if you are accepted, before you can start using the program, you have to agree to their payment structure and put information in on your payment on however you choose to pay, and that it would be more of like a pay per click basis, so that you will get more clicks for the more money that you're willing to put into it. I'm very disinterested in that. But again, it's always good to just have that approval in your back pocket, even if you don't end up using it. So I want to know how you guys feel about this. I appreciate that Poshmark is trying new things. I definitely do. I wouldn't mind if we moved away from a share-based algorithm, but you know, I try to keep a lot of positivity on my channel because I absolutely love what I do. I love reselling. You guys know that. If you've met me, if you've read my books, you know. I love the freedom that this gives me, and I just have to wonder how this is going to impact either smaller sellers or sellers that are starting out now wanting to be big sellers, because I mean, you guys know, like if you sell on any level, it's not just as easy as you take a few pictures and it sells. Like it's a lot of work that you have to do. And now with resale blowing up the way it is, which is a very great thing, there's just a lot more competition. And I don't love that on Poshmark, you know, they kind of claim to be about the small seller, but a brand like Free People has its own brand page, because there's no way I can compete with that, right? I mean, I'm a mom in Maryland. There's no way that I can compete with that. So if I can't have a bot and I have to hire a VA to share my closet just to compete with a big company, that's real money. You know, that's real money. So I don't love that they allowed brands to have their own page. If they're adding a promoted listing option, I'm absolutely certain, just like on eBay, that big brands will pay to promote their listings, so that it will drive down the smaller sellers. So yeah, that's my worry. That's my worry. Let me know what you guys think. The one thing I will say that I think could be a very good thing, maybe for every seller, maybe just for the promoted sellers, is they do say that they are going to have listing insights. And one thing that I absolutely love about Mercari, because Mercari I have some issues with, but one thing I love about them is you can see how many times your item was viewed and how many likes that item has received. And if we got that on Poshmark, that would be huge, because for me, just seeing how many people actually view my listing versus click on it versus actually like it, those are really important things that I would love to see from a Poshmark closet. So let me know what you guys think. I've got feelings. So let me know what you guys think. Do you think that you're going to enroll in the program? And just what are your initial thoughts on Poshmark starting something like this? I really want to know. And again, I'm sorry, my voice is cracking and terrible, and I'm going to go now because it's doing that thing. But thank you for watching. Let me know what you think. If I find out more stuff, I will put it in a new video. Links down below. And as always, please buy my book, I Want to Retire to a Private Island, and you can be a part of that. Okay. Bye, guys.